Hello, my friends. Okay, so finally, let's start talking about physical health. Why did I spend so much time talking about the mind? Well, because everything starts in the mind, everything is processed in the mind. So when we're going to be trying to make changes in our health, it's important to make sure that we have clarity and that our mind is seeing through a clear lens of perception. So that way our other health choices have more clarity, right? Anyway, physical body health, when we approach it from a holistic sense, we're looking at an entire being. And so that includes mind, body, spirit, the different koshas or layers of being that we've talked about. And we try to determine what a person's ideal balance is, what that would look like. And then we determine what their current state of imbalance is, and then we make up the difference. So since every person is genuinely unique, right? Especially within the mind, because everyone's personal stream of consciousness, their life experience is their own. Every single person's unique, and every single person's body is unique, their composition, etc. So making broad statements like, these are the nutrition facts, this is what every single person should be eating every day, it doesn't always work for everybody because not everybody is the same. So a holistic approach takes into consideration each person's unique body composition and all layers of being, including their previous experience, because all of our previous experiences, as we've talked about, leaves impressions with people that create habits, etc. That's why everybody is so unique. So looking at a person's current state of imbalance versus their ideal balance gives us an understanding, there's the deficit. Now, how are we going to rebalance this person to bring them back into a level of ideal balance and homeostasis? Really, when we talk about physical health, the goal is to remain in homeostasis, meaning all your systems, all your body systems, the processes, and the different things that work together are all in equilibrium, because when everything is in balance, things flow without resistance. Your digestion, your inner fire and your digestion, for example, is one of the really fundamental things, because when it comes to physical health, what you digest, what you eat and what you digest is what makes up your physical body. So when you're in a state of homeostasis and all of your systems are working together, like your digestive fire, your body is capable of processing what you put in and what you're exposed to, because even your skin takes in moisture for your physical body, and that creates fluctuations, the temperature outside, etc. But when your body is solid, strong, immune health, digestive fire, you're capable of maintaining this high level of health, which in turn allows your body to continuously heal itself. Because when you get a cut on your hand and you watch the healing process, you notice that your body naturally creates a scab. Well, first it clots the blood, right? And then it creates the scab, and then it eventually heals over. So even a physical wound that you would get on your hand, you see that your body is capable of natural healing. On a broader scale, when it comes to our entire physical body, we can have the similar understanding. Well, when I keep my vessel, my body healthy, it heals itself. And part of this is remaining in homeostasis. Like that is the ultimate goal here. The reason why that I wanted to talk about this is because there's a lot of different ways that we can go about keeping ourselves healthy. There's a lot of different activities we can do, you know, strength training, lifting weights, walking, running, doing sports, you know, like water sports or skiing or whatever. I mean, the list goes on and on when it comes to physical activity and how we can remain healthy. When it comes to what we're talking about, we're trying to remain in homeostasis for the health and longevity of our physical body. So listening to your body and developing that mind-body connection is important because it's like a warning system. The more awareness you have and the stronger your mind-body connection is, the bigger notice oftentimes. I mean, sometimes health things come up without notice, but when we do increase our awareness, we have a better chance, a higher probability of recognizing some sort of imbalance within our system at an earlier time. And then we can take preventative steps to keep it from deteriorating into something more serious. So, for example, if we're really in touch with ourselves and we know that we've been feeling tired or sluggish or, you know, other small minor changes, and we don't ignore them, we address these things right away, then they won't lead to further problems. One of the main things we see in chronic health problems or just health issues in general is people ignore early warning signs. If you're tired all the time, or if you are getting headaches often, or any of these things that people complain of, like the tension in the neck, the stress, those indicators should not be ignored. And people that have advanced awareness and a strong mind-body connection, they don't ignore those things because they're very aware. And they're like, well, I've been noticing this. Often we see people tracking their health so that way they can see trends in their own health data, which can be useful for some people. Some people need that. We're trying to, though, slow down our mental body enough to the point where we don't necessarily need to have a log. It is useful to keep for a while, but over time, the idea is to develop that sense within yourself and the awareness. So that way you immediately know, okay, I've been feeling tired and sluggish. So for example, with this one, we look at a couple of things. Why this person's feeling tired and sluggish. Often we overdo it, we overexert, we get to the point of burnout, which we've talked about, I think, before with mental energy, but we also need to recognize that our physical body needs rest. And so if we're fatigued all the time because we're overdoing it and we know that, we need to make adjustments to our schedule as best as possible to accommodate for our health, because without our health, we're not capable of doing anything else. So paying attention to any of the early warning signs is an important thing for all of us to do. But when it comes to like sluggishness, one of the ways that we approach is adjusting things with the opposite. So if you're feeling tired and sluggish, sometimes you would say, well, maybe you should rest. But upon reflection of your own life, have you been very sedentary? Have you been doing a lot of work, but has it been sitting at a computer, for example? Or are you potentially fatigued from other things? So it might not just be that you're burned out. It could be that you have a sedentary lifestyle. So upon reflection, you would be able to make the best determination of the reason for the fatigue, and then try to accommodate by using an opposite. So for sluggishness, a vigorous workout would potentially be a solution. And this all depends on the person and the situation, and this is definitely not a broad and general statement. If you're tired, it might not be that you need to go work out, but for some people, it is. Another example is noticing little things like if you have really cold hands and feet, if your circulation is poor, or if you have a hard time with digestion. These are oftentimes ignored, or people get indigestion often. And these are all telling you, your body is saying, hey, I'm trying to rebalance myself. Pay more attention, you know? Understanding the different body constitution types, the different doshas, really helps us to understand our bodies from a holistic sense. So with Western medicine, we look at things and we look at like caloric intake. And if people want to lose weight, we say, well, you need to burn more calories than you consume every day. It's very logical. However, there are a lot of different complexities to that. A person could be retaining weight, for example, because their digestive fire isn't healthy enough to break down and transform. The digestive fire is the transformation energy. It might not be strong enough to transform what is being put in as food. So the person might be retaining excess, or there might be other systems that are out of balance. It can get pretty complex when you are going into the what ifs and the different specific instances. But when you understand the doshas, what they are and how they move energy, like as forces of energy, you can start to look at your own body and apply the basic fundamental nature principles to your body and allow for flow to happen. So even within yoga, people who do, and I think we're going to make this a short video, like separate, to go into a little bit more detail about this, but even in yoga posturing, in asana practice, the regular yoga for exercise, oftentimes people don't realize that they could be doing specific yoga types to help increase their balance. So traditionally, yoga is done to help maintain homeostasis. It's not just about getting long and lean muscles or being able to relax and stretch. If you have an imbalance, for instance, in your pitta, the fiery part of yourself. So if pitta dosha in the body is out of balance, the type of yoga that the person should do is a relaxing type of yoga. However, oftentimes we see people with really fiery personalities that are very pitta dosha type of people gravitating more towards doing headstands and handstands because that's their natural fiery nature to like really go for it. But the type of yoga that would actually benefit them the greatest would be the more calm and relaxing kind, because they're already a really intense, fiery, determined type of individual. So balancing that person would require more of a relaxation aspect. The people that should really go for the stimulating type of yoga posturing, like or vigorous exercises other than yoga, are people who need that extra stimulation, who are more lackadaisical, generally speaking. People that are you know, more of just like, I don't really need to move too much. I'm kind of slothy type of person. Those people benefit the greatest from doing high, vigorous intensity type of exercise, including different types of yoga, because we're trying to stimulate that person's energy. People who are of the Vata dosha style, the very airy people who move around a lot, who maybe have a hard time focusing, slow and steady practice. Even it gets very detailed, you guys. So even keeping your eyes below the horizon is supposed to also help ground the person. So a person who is of the Vata dosha needs balance more than anything. They need a little bit of grounding and balance to help keep them in homeostasis. So all of these different things. Oh, and a side note, if you were wondering, Vata dosha people, a lot of people make jokes about women who have cold hands and feet and stomach problems, digestion problems and stuff. And every time I hear this, I immediately identify it being a Vata dosha imbalance. So it's a really common one for women. I think, I don't know why, and maybe it's just in my stream of consciousness and experience I've noticed this, but it seems that a lot of women have a Vata dosha imbalance. So doing slow and steady, focused concentration type of yogic asana practice is very beneficial to them. Also, for these people, self-oil massage using a warm oil is really useful. Making sure that you're eating full meals that are substantial. If you think about it, people who are on the go, moving around, who lack the grounding type of energy, they're kind of flighty in the mind and body. And when they're moving around all the time, they might not be cognizant of the fact that they're moving, but they're not sustaining themselves in the process of their movement. So the type of food that helps are those like home cooked meals, and not just eating that type of food, but the experience itself, sitting down, taking time for the meal, not doing other things while you're eating, and enjoying a full, warm, home cooked meal to have that experience, that feeling, that groundingness, and the type of food, which is easy to digest to help the digestive fire be able to transform the food and then be able to sustain the nutrients from it. When we're moving around a lot and we're not grounded and relaxed while we're eating, our body systems are not grounded and ready to go. So it's a lot more than just little changes. It's entire expansive changes that we're making when we're approaching looking at the human body and health from a holistic sense, especially from an Ayurvedic perspective, which is what I've been talking about. So Ayurveda is very much holistic. It looks at the person, and when we are able to understand the type of person and why, what part of their constitution makes them on the go so much and not feel like they can sit down for a very nice home-cooked warm meal with the entire experience of calm, relaxed eating of something, that their body and mind will be like, oh, it's time to calm down, relax, and have a nourishing meal. Let me allow myself that space mentally and create it in the physical world with this physical meal in front of me to create the experience for myself to sit here and eat a home cooked meal and allow myself to be nourished. Vata dosha imbalance, I think, has a lot to do. I don't think, I know it has a lot to do with nourishment, allowing that nourishment to come in, taking the time for it to happen. With pitta, it's very much calming down the fire within. So, and then kapha, it's about stimulating the energy. So, I mean, I have this book that will be available for you guys that has everything, all of it explained, but it is just an entire perspective mindset shift when you start looking at things from this angle. So, in closing, when we are getting into the physical body stuff, it's just really important to remember to love your vessel. Self-care of the vessel is very important. So when you treat your body like a physical manifestation of divinity, you're treating it with the highest, most respect that you can. And that includes the time that you take to take care of it and what you're putting in, and is it nourishing? Am I listening to my body? Am I taking the time to do self-oil massage? Often we'll have like romantic partners and we do these, you know, beautiful things for each other when it comes to massages and things like, you know, pedicures. But are we doing that for ourselves? Even if we're alone, are we still taking the time to recognize, hey, this is my physical body that carries me through life, and am I nurturing? Am I nourishing it? Allow yourself to focus that intention and love that you would give another person into yourself to be able to keep moving forward in your highest state of being.